Power writing during the Vandal hours, the stacked moment where clean walls are fresh greenery for paint mallets to stampede upon. These are the earliest hip-hop writers, greats of graph needing to see colored arrays of backdrops, the constructs of the letter, and how animated chaos stills. And as the walls dry, I wonder, understanding words of cultured brilliance powering a rebalance of the elements equally, pages of rejuvenated reaffirmation, simply the almighty leadership of insightful craftwork that stands to build through any conversation born to be. Today, the Vandals let me loose on the pages of my own element, the hip-hop writer. These are some of these moments, authorized and vandalized. This is the Power Right Show on S Street Media. This is your brother, the lone low life with the home-sewn garment, the Boricua with the build, the true and living God, stepping in store, score, Sunyaz Allah, a.k.a. Skillustrator Low. And we're on, and we're still on, S Street Media, the evolution of media. The Power Right Show, man, featured on the Vandal Hour. It's been a long time since I've been on the Vandal Hour, man. Salute to everybody that takes a part in the Vandal Hour. And it's always been an honor to add on to it. The Power Right Show, the show that I have on S Street Media as well, on every Monday night, archived just as all the other shows, is about my element of hip-hop. What I call the writer of art on art and science on music. The only show in hip-hop history on the hip-hop writer element that I've been a veteran of over 20 years of. So it's basically, what do I say? Well, first off, what I've always seen is missing. Real science on music, not just these bars are hot, that's a hot track, sizzling track. You know, like just adjectives for a fucking track that deal with lava and shit. And that's your basic hip-hop review and shit. And then, real details, like details, you know, if we build with the brothers, we detail their lyrics, we detail what they're about, you know what I mean? And we don't wait till gentrification, I mean genius.com, to explain all of the lyrics that an MC has, you know what I mean? We go differently. It's not just about explaining what they ain't really trying to explain to you anyway, but really trying to get like the depth of the art. That's what the science on music was. That's what I'm trying to give you on this show also. But also my thoughts about hip hop and everything related. That's why we go from crates. We talk about all these other things because they all deal with what hip hop is, the issues of and the expressions of our reality. Now, when I say art and art is because I've had the joy and of writing about what I consider to be the best works that I've ever heard, that I hear at every moment and every turn. And when I started to write about this element, I said, this journalism isn't an element. We just write about other people's shit. We're just writing the coattails of other people's stuff. We're not really contributing to the music like that. And the magazines, after a while, they become so formatted, you know what I mean? Because remember, a magazine is like a assembly line. That's why every article sounds the same. They take it through, edit it down the assembly line, and by the end, everybody's style is corrupted into one style. But I really wanted to, this was back in early 1995. I have the pieces to prove it. And I said, inspired by legends of yore, like Amiri Baraka, and inspired by those legends I was seeing then and there, like the father of my element, Bones Malone, I was like, this will be an element if we do what Bones was doing, but with the actual songs we talk about, the music. If I write art on the actual art I'm talking about, if I could fuse what I'm seeing as a creative piece that's coming and inspired out of the art that I'm talking about, and fuse that shit all together. Some of them end up being abstract, crazy ass pieces, and I don't give a fuck what the fuck I was covering. But most of the time, I'm really trying to honor the piece that's inspiring me. And at times in this show, I get the opportunity to interview those people that inspire a lot of art. So I think one of the ways to pre-introduce my guest today is to really recite one of those pieces that I wrote, that I embedded in a piece about his work, and how it inspired me. And this is actually for, I think it was the Kashmir Dice album from the Villains with DJ Skiz. And I kind of broke this piece up all in there. And it didn't have the title, but the title is actually Post-P Modernism, you know? So it goes like this when it's all together. It was, times of the trans real they be. Crimes of transaction, transgression, the package progression. This old brown of the black, the supreme sunbow, arrowed 16 shades of original. Left in the stupor of our own co-opted creativity. Reached the fall of night. A righteous day means more, a righteous day means I'm more the niggery villain. Laying down a hymn for P. Lord Jesus Price, you had rhymed for us. Worlds made, grafted, paid, tomorrow's niggas already afraid. Who you fuck? Ass activism. Who gets fucked? All past dogmatism. Oppression now's a cry for more privilege. Revolution is an app downloaded by horny undecidables. Cling to old Biang Zing, holding barred bees. Today's math, principles prepped in plus lessons. A suture to an uncommon man commences. Now thou one with us, where right is lost and soul is sin. We, Herculean children in beds of breaks for sleep, just above its cousin, where the giddiness of gentrifiers lumen palpitates hearts, making the springs in the mattress falter and loop trap. Them radioed mumbles of the pathetic pride, a hoping loser, sight at the rim of P, healing at the cusp of illness, blessing souls through song bins. May we laugh and bash evil we see. Let the language of the warrior couple into flying knives, sacred words that move the limbs when blood is lost, swords of the invisible renaissance, in our own revolution and perfection. P. So anyway, that was a piece that I had put in that villains piece because that inspired me, and it becomes my art and art. And hopefully I had enough science of music so you went and got that album as well, you know. But it's what makes it worthwhile. And the brother I have today is one of the MCs out of the villains. He is, to me, one of the most, I always say one of the most, but a lot of times I mean the most at times because these rankings fluctuate, and he's been at the top of that in a lot of ways, but the most charismatic MC I've heard in years, you know what I mean? And what I mean by charismatic real quick is like, I'm kind of not listening to him, I'm just watching him, the way he's doing the shit, you know what I mean? And I like to also say, in introducing this guest, is that he's a prime example of something we don't see in hip hop. The strength of the apprentice, you know what I mean? It's a lost art in hip hop MCing. We see it a lot in DJing, you know what I'm saying? We see it a lot in other hip hop elements, you know what I mean? And we see it in mine too, you know what I'm saying? I'm literally was under the wings of a lot of great writers, you know what I mean? But we don't see it in MCing though. Usually great MCs have they bring on shitty rappers, right? You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Lesser rappers, you know what I mean? Or there might be like Pun where they didn't really need the mentoring as far as like MCing only. They just needed like a business push. Like they, you know, no disrespect to Fat Joe. It's just that Pun was that incredible. Like he didn't really need anyone but just help to get in the industry. And if you really know those stories, that was a lot of help. Mm-hmm. They didn't just play, if you was light skinned, they didn't want to do that story. You know what I mean? Pitching that as a record label. They didn't want to do there's other niggers that are they talk Spanish. Yeah, they don't do that. You know, we just take the dark ones. We could pass them off. You know, it was reverse passing in the industry. But what Sean Price did in putting on people, I was saying this off air. He put me on to so many people to write about, and they go on and on from Napoleon the Legend on down. I didn't even know Napoleon until he told me come to a video shoot. You know what I mean? So my guest, Rim of the Villains, one of the greatest honorings of a mentor I've ever seen in hip hop MCing though, you know what I mean? And I just have to start off by saying that, you know what I mean? And welcome you to the show,
Peace. Glad to be here, man.
Absolutely. You know, because one of the things I like about an apprentice, you know, what you expect out of apprentice, like when I learned martial art, we was always learning. We learned and I said this in the piece, the creative piece was Biang Zing. Biang Zing means metamorphosis. Mm-hmm. So if you learn Tiger, I don't do Tiger like no 6 foot nigga.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I do Tiger like a little nigga that's, low, right. You know, low, short right. strokes. Now I'm not doing all that crazy shit. This one paw isn't going to knock you down. You know what I'm saying? It's not like that. So that's the Biang Zing. Everybody has their own way of doing stuff. Mm-hmm. And one of the greatest things that I think that an apprentice or someone's learning under somebody is that they do it totally different. Like, it's not a whole bunch of little P's
right.
that's rhyming that was under Sean P's wing. And when I hear Rim, I could show you to a lot of people, unless because you pay lots of homage to him. But if they don't catch those bars like the R.I.P. and things like that, they're like, this nigga doesn't sound like Sean P at all. Right. And sometimes you don't sound like Brooklyn either. You know what I'm saying? And that's not a bad thing at all. Like it's just it's dope. You know what I mean?
Nah, I appreciate that. Yeah.
And it's like if you talk to, and of course you had the most conversations as much as anyone. In the limited times I talked about P, it was very rarely about music. He was talking about lessons and what I was doing at the school. You know what I mean? It wasn't really about that. And I didn't care because I was like, I'll write about him. It didn't need to because people would click on something Sean P and you didn't have to interview him. He was that big of a draw. I really consider him the star of what I call this invisible renaissance, this 2010s. Because I think, and this is just me and I'm throwing it out at you, niggas didn't have beards until he was rocking his shit.
No.
A lot of the fashion, he was one of the monumental.
He made it like,
this is a hip hop thing. This is a ghetto street thing. Because all the Dominicans looking like Arabians when I go back up to the Heights, though. That shit, you know, your mamas didn't like any of that shit, though. You know what I mean?
Right.
And it's like a lot of the styles, like, you know, and he's one, of course, as a knighted low life in 2016 for hip hop. I know what he was doing for hip hop as far as low and just fashion sense. You know, a general fashion sense though, because it got overrun by the Batiman style. You know what I mean? So
you see it.
You know, and Low Lives really to me kept that going, like a real way of dressing like I'm fucking man. You know what I mean? Like a man. You know, just keep it simple. And Sean P was at the center of all these things. You know what I'm saying? And he was the most important cosign in New York City hip hop, from monkey bars all the way to, you know what I mean, his returning to the essence. You know what I mean? This is just my side thoughts about P, and I always have to say it out there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I feel the same way.
But I know that he must have pestered you a lot to have your own unique style. You know what I mean? Not sound like him and stuff like that. I know it must have been brutal with that shit too, and that kind.
I mean, at the end of the day, you know, like when we first came to Sean, man, like, you know, he liked us before, you know, before we even knew that he fucked with us. You know what I'm saying? Because, you know, he knew mutual people in the neighborhood. Like he lived right around the corner from our block. So it's like, you know, we see him all the time. Like even the time when I did give him a CD, he asked me if these were raps or beats. So, you know, I kind of hesitated, like, oh shit, it's raps, man. And he
like he wouldn't want the beats, he wouldn't want the raps.
He wouldn't want the raps. He just wanted the beats. So he looked at me, he was like, all right. You know what I'm saying? He took the CD, and I ain't seen him for like 2 or 3 months. And then, you know, when I did, you know, decide to hit him on Twitter, that's when he was like, I know y'all niggas just come to the crib. You know what I'm saying? And I found out that he did fuck with us. So it's like, the first thing he told me and my man's, P, shout out P, he was like, y'all niggas don't listen to just rap, right? He was like, nah. He was like, I could tell in y'all how the way y'all rhyme. You know what I'm saying? He's like, y'all rhyme the way that I used to rhyme.
And he means like other genres of music.
Basically.
I'm just saying being particular.
Yeah, being particular, basically.
I've said this on the air. Like, I think one of the flaws of the modern day hardcore hip hop listener, kids that buy all the shit that you're making and everybody else, they don't have much of a palette beyond hip hop. And it's terrible.
It's terrible, bro.
That's digging in the crates. Like, we're supposed to get lost in the shit that Pete Rock was using on Main Ingredient. You know, shit like that. Like,
exactly.
You get lost digging, and that's how you find all this music and all this jazz and all that stuff. That's how I got into all that.
Yeah.
You know?
And that's how, like, when I used to go to P Crib, man, it was never, unless we're going to the studio, that's when it's about music. But when I went to his house, we never talked about rap, none of that shit. It was all history lessons, basically. You know what I'm saying? He'll pull up the YouTube, and we'll be listening from fucking Kiss, the fucking Maroon 5, the fucking some whole other shit I never listened to her before. But the shit be dope as fuck, like just music wise. And you know that I was into that shit. So like he introduced me to a lot of shit.
Yeah, you know, a lot of MCs that are legends, their musical palettes are way beyond hip hop. And people think it's just the producer that's supposed to be like that. No, and it's not, because a lot of great MCs brought the crates that they wanted to be sampled to the producer. From G-Rap telling me that, all the way to, like, I remember I think it was Pun's cousin told me when they did like a release, when his album was released, he rolled up to Virgin bumping Phil Collins in the air tonight, though. You know, like right when the drums come in.
Like, real shit.
He's waiting for it to come in, and then he rolls through, you know, and it's like, the different shit changes the way you phrase things and stuff, because
exactly, bro.
Lyricism and all different types of songwriting changes the way
right.
stuff.
It changed the way you listen to the beat. It changed the way you do everything with rap. You know what I'm saying? Like when I went with Sean to do a show, we never listened to no rap. We listened to all old school R&B. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And that's what we listened to before he even got on stage.
And see, if you let me toss this at you, like, you know, a lot of guys, like obviously led by Ka, Rock Marciano,
Right. Shouts out to them.
They make their pocket out in other parts of the music, and they, you know, if you follow other music, follow jazz is a quick jazz thing. Before polyrhythms got into jazz via the drum and Latin, you know, the Latin Caribbean bringing that back,
right?
You know, people like Dizzy and all, they used to say the polyrhythms were inside the horn sections, and that's why a lot of times when you listen to different kinds of music, learn to find a pocket.
Right.
That's why Rock Marciano can find the pocket so easily, because he listens to all this other music, like actual listening music, not just like, oh, I want to sample that and then fuck it. You know what I mean? They listen to the whole album they might have found.
I'm gonna give you a secret to how I write. Like, I don't have one style, so I can't. Like, one thing I hate is a pet peeve. Like, if I give a producer a feature, like a verse or whatever, and then he might send it to me on a whole different beat, and I'd be like, dude. And you know, it might not be that bad on how it goes to the beat, but it's like, bro, I would have rhymed totally different to this beat, because I would have hit those fucking instruments a different way.
I'm glad they explained that, because that's when I build with the God Dark Him. He says that a lot though. He hates when, and I'm like, in my head, people are thinking like, oh, but they put you on a really dope beat. Like, that's not the point. The point was what you just said.
Right. I would have hit that shit totally different. You know what I'm saying? So it's like I don't have a flow. I listen to the beat, and the beat controls me. You know what I'm saying? The beat tells me what to say. You know what I mean? Like, everything's a vibe, vibrations and everything. You know what I'm saying? So certain words have different vibes to it. It had different sounds to it. So if a beat is like something hitting, like a horn's hitting crazy, I have to match, like the horn to tell me what word to say. If it's like, it's my mind, I don't know, the beat, the instruments talk to me crazy. Right. So the words tell me, the fucking horns to tell me to say something to go with that, the way that horn is going. You know what I mean?
Right. As opposed to the same drums without the horns.
Exactly. So I don't even listen to drums first. When I fucking listen to a beat, I listen to the straight whatever else is in the background, and I try to rhyme to that.
It kind of makes the verse more embedded in the song, because
it makes you a fucking instrument to the verse, to the music. Right.
Some MCs, there's different types of pockets, and sometimes MCs kind of ride outside the pocket that's outside of the music,
just rhyming on the beat,
or rhyme inside the pocket. Like if you listen to AZ or Deck, they're always inside
of it.
But some people ride outside and it sounds fucked up. Some people go outside and they're skillful. They could go, merge in and out.
Right? Do what they want. That's what I see. I do that with every beat. See, that's the thing. Niggas don't know how to like play with your flow, man. Like, don't just fucking rhyme to the beat. Try something else with it. Play with the flow. Play with the beat.
We're gonna go to that again in a little bit.
No doubt.
One of the albums that you were part of that to me got no press at all, and it just frustrated me. Like, nobody mentioned it and shit. And shameless plug that I didn't do it before. My book, The Filtered Real, Essays from the Invisible Renaissance. A lot of the work that I used to explain the Invisible Renaissance is from 2018. So some of the work that we'll be talking about is Rim's work that's in this book. You know what I mean? Including Ugandan Lunch Meat, which was one of my top EPs of 2018.
Oh, man.
You know what I mean? I loved it.
Man. Good luck,
you know what I mean? And but I wrote down here that the one thing you can assume that you would learn from Sean Price, though, right, is a perfection of tempo. That if you, because got a lot of great MCs, dope MCs, general good MC, they could ride ride well on any tempo beat,
right? But
they won't feel like they're really in control. Like, if it's fast, they'll look like they're in an intense car chase.
Right.
But when Sean P rhymed, when you guys rhymed, and this is you and Villain P.
Oh, that's
because you guys are
together. We
both
crazy.
Of you guys, you know what I mean?
I rap because of him, so we'll get back to that.
Both of you guys. It looks like whether if the beat is 100, 200 plus BPM, like right. You guys still look like you got like this with the hand outside,
right? Smooth,
just
right.
Real smooth.
Appreciate
Whereas
that,
the other guy's rhyming good, but he's like,
right, he's going crazy, right? He's trying to catch it,
it's trying to catch it.
Right, You gotta
down
let
the
the beat
stairs and
catch up
shit.
to you, man. You can't
Right.
try to catch the beat. You just gotta.
Right. But I'm saying this though. That shit is not
It's not easy,
something that
man.
you can master.
It's
I'm
not.
saying that like you could try, you could understand it. It's something you might not master. Like me, I never mastered the slam dunk. It's just something I couldn't master.
Right.
I don't know why.
Right.
But I don't know why I couldn't master the slam dunk.
Right.
You know what I mean? Yeah. I don't know. I still don't understand though. You know what I mean? I don't know basketball though. You know what I mean? But you know, as I always say, one thing that Sean P used to always tell me, he said, tell your students to do free writing. Just write whatever comes to them. You know what I mean?
Yo.
And did he get you to do that? Or like, did he emphasize
so,
that with you as MCs?
You know, as an MC, you know what I'm saying? Like once I was always an MC, you know what I'm saying? But I never we didn't take it serious until like, 2013. So, I was used to just, taking my time with writing because that's how I know it makes sense and you know what I mean? But when I went to the studio with Sean, like the first song we did with Sean was the Bucktown 2013. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, yeah,
you remember that joint,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
Right. So, like when I first went to his crib to ask him to do the track, whatever, he said, "Yeah, I got you." It took him, 3 months because that's when he went on tour to go, to Europe. He, you know what I'm saying? He was already moving around. So when he came back and then, I hit him, he was like, "Yo, you know what? Let's go to the studio right now and do it." I was like, "All right." So we went to the studio and he wrote the verse right there, 15 fucking minutes, dude. I was like, yo, what the fuck? I ain't even I thought he had he ain't even write this shit yet. So
Again, with most people ill-advised, like you're gonna write some bullshit.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So and when he spit the shit, I was like, yo, and this shit is fire. So it's like, yo, that's when he was like, yo, don't fucking think too much about what you writing. You know what I'm saying? He said,
But is some of that because I'm thinking as a writer too, because things bubble for a long time. Then you can write a whole essay.
Right.
So it's like he's keeping things, the best part, every now and then in his head.
If he's doing that, he's still good for that. Cause I can't even. I can't remember the shit I did 5 minutes ago right now. You know what I'm saying? Like, so if he was doing that, then that's good. But that wasn't the first time. So I've seen him do this like a million times, just and it don't be corny. That's the thing. I've seen people write 15-minute verses and it's be like, nah, rewrite that shit. You know what I mean? Like, Like I keep it. I'll keep it a buck with you, man. Like I wrote some shit. And, it was one of the, I wrote my shit in like 30 minutes. You know what I'm saying? It took me 30 to write it. I was still learning, you know what I'm saying? But it took me 30. And I spit it. And, everybody was like, yo, that shit fire, huh? He was like, nah, that's not it. Write it over. Everybody in the studio, yo, that shit was fire. So it was like,
did he give you a reason?
He just said, that's not it. He said, that's not it. That's not it. He said, this beat is not it. Basically, you know what I'm saying? He didn't give me a reason. Just like, that's not it. I don't like it. You know
so then now by that time, like you trust him because he's really that nice with it. So
yo, I was like, no problem.
like,
I didn't even feel away. I was like, thank you for telling me because I didn't want to be whack. You know what I mean? And then I did the verse over, and he was like, that's it. You know what I'm saying? Right.
Right.
And I did it in the comfort of my own home, though. That's the thing. But this is what he was trying to explain to me, like, yo, don't get caught up in words. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't get caught up in it. Just write it. Write down what you feel, and whatever comes out is what comes out.
I think this though, right? There's to be a writer of that sense, though, I think there's only two ways you could do it. A man of both or either or, great experience or extreme learning.
Yeah.
To have a reservoir, and he's a combination of the two. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it becomes a thing because if you don't really know shit, that shit ain't gonna come out like that.
Yeah,
and if you don't really experience things, you couldn't fall back on experience
at all.
To just say, "Oh, let me write about that time I was at blah blah, and this shit happened."
And that's what he told me too. He was like, "Yo, man, just don't be scared to write about things. Don't be scared to say things. Just say it. You know what I'm saying? Write it, even if you feel like it's not something that you should be talking about. Talk about it. You know what I'm saying? Just talk about it." He said, "You got to get everything out." He said, "Because then you're just gonna be stuck."
Do you think that he ever had a moment where like you would when you rhyme, where you try that and you say something like, "Oh, I can't put that on wax," and then you go back and fix it like in the post edit, like, I kind of snitched.
He
on
never
myself,
had no moment like that. I've had a moment where I'm bugging the fuck out. I'm snitching on my fucking self. Like I can't do no shit like that. Right? But he never had a moment to where it's just like, let me take that out.
Yeah,
because he got some crazy shit that I ain't even hear yet. That's just like,
because it's funny because he says he was influenced really by a lot of the free writing and Supreme Clientele. But he took a whole career and amplified that. You know, it's like there's a thing that Chuck D says in his book where he talks about there's revolutionary that they change things, and there's people that are evolutionary that go up on the changes someone else made and take it to a way higher level. He really would be like evolutionary, the way Chuck D said. Exactly, you know what I mean? In that sense.
That's exactly what he did.
But I want to skip along because I could talk about P so long.
Definitely.
The reason is I'm saying all this though is because P is a Hall of Famer. You know what I mean? And to me, Rim is one of the soon-to-be Hall of Famers.
I appreciate
because the work, it gets so overlooked. It's so annoying, though. And, you know, now you get a candid conversation. It's just us two DeBarges in the room, two light-skinned niggas in the room. You know what I mean? You know what I mean?
Right.
I had to say that, though.
No doubt.
The light-skinned jokes that you be throwing is just too funny, though. Because I be looking at my poster, and I'm like, you know...
Man, I do that,
Let me
man.
See if I don't know.
My
if
whole
I do
family on my mother's side,
you know
man, is bright skinned, man. So you know they used to tease me all my life, man, because I was the darkest one. Man. So you know what I mean. I had to get them back when I got older.
You know, it's funny because with us Puerto Ricans is different. So like the family I'm from, though, I'm the dark one.
Oh, okay.
That's how light skinned it is. So I got like blonde haired cousins. I got blue eyed cousins. So it's like the dark one.
You're the moreno, basically.
Yes, I don't know if I do light skin face though. You know what I mean? I don't even know if I do it though.
Right.
You know? But I keep checking and shit.
Right.
Yeah. But there's so much to run down in this shit though, because one of the things I started to do in this decade was write as freely as possible. That's why I relate to so much of what you guys do, because I love the freedom of it though. Because when I write, I'm trying to be as free as possible with it too.
Exactly, man.
Because I'm using a format that I invented. You know what I'm saying? I invented this format. But like, there's a lot of work that you have that was criminally, you know, not spoken about. So let's go. I mentioned Ugandan lunch meat. You know what I'm saying? And it contrasts so much from the record that you have out now, to Keep It Ville, to me.
Okay.
Because I find the beats to be totally out left field, what you wouldn't have normally done. You know what I'm saying? And it works so good for like your tempo. It shows like, yo, can this guy rhyme in these different tempos, these different styles and shit like that? Because I've seen people rhyme on beats that aren't really for them, and it fucks them up. And they stop and they're like, oh, I can't fuck with it. You know what I mean? And the Ugandan lunch meat, like there was a lot of abstract fun with it, like you know what I mean?
Right.
And even because of the way the beats were, your vocal tone is extremely unique. Just for a Brooklyn nigga, like it has like a high pitch, but the way you enunciate, you know, the way you clap, you go each your pronunciation of words, everything like that, it almost makes you sound like you could be part of Souls of Mischief sometimes to me. Like you have like that West Coast lyrical cadence.
That's one of my favorite groups.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like if you could fit right there, like you could fit in all these things, and like I loved Ugandan lunch meat for that, because you took an EP and experimented, and it's just 5 bangers. You know, like 5 bangers.
Yeah. That was just touch water, right?
And some of those songs though, like, and a lot of the interviews I like to really instruct the listener toward where I'm going, so they get, it's more like an appreciation session for Rim now. So I said this in the piece that I wrote. This is in the book, and I just took it out of the book. You know what I mean? But I said that there's a perfection of tempo to an effect that's completely him. You know what I'm saying? Like I could identify you easily in other posse cuts. You know what I'm saying? And there's a slow flow of depth with crafted slang language with perfect enunciation on songs like Kings, Africans, Rifles, You, and the other 2 examples I gave.
Right.
And then the word coupling, because I said it was abnormally precise. That's the only way I could think of it, is abnormally precise.
Right.
When MCs have a precise enunciation, they sound like nerds.
Right.
And when you have a precise enunciation, it sounds cool and it sounds hood.
Right.
It don't sound corny. You know what I mean?
Right.
This is a gift.
Nah, it is.
It's a gift. You know what I mean? Like it works out. You know what I mean? Because a lot of MCs over years, they've been slurring their words so they can sound more dope.
Right.
And we don't understand what the fuck they're saying. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So when you were making that, deciding the beats, like how did this work out? Like it just came out that way and you said, okay, let's just package it like this. Or like, yo, I'm going to try some crazy shit and put it in the package and shit.
So basically the first song that we did on that project was A Mean Flow.
Okay.
Right. So, you know, like I didn't even name it at first. I just listened to the beat and the beat was just like the way it was going is just like it was just crazy. So I was like, you know what? Let me take these little young niggas flows and, you know what I'm saying? Let me just show them I could do this shit too. You know what I mean? Like, this shit is easy. It's just you
But it didn't have the cliche, like,
it didn't.
And
exactly.
You know, like,
that's what I tried.
you know, like the Migos. I'm a nerd.
Right. Because, like, I still kept it with some, you know, some style. You know what I mean? Like, you know, with style and, like, that flavor and, like, you know, bars. Like, it's rhymes. Like, you just rhyme to the, you know what I mean? So, after I did the track, after I recorded the track, I was like, this is a mean flow. Then I was like, I mean. Then I was like, Idi Amin. Then I was like, yo.
Yeah. And what's funny is that the Ugandan stuff, these are words that P would throw out of the blue.
Exactly. Yo, I swear it's like he was talking.
It would inspire like the whole round. Botswana. And if you say Botswana, people don't think like, yes, the things that's going on with them. They can start rhyming P shit.
Right. And see, you know what I mean? Yo.
There's got to be a nigga in Botswana mad at y'all.
I'm telling you, yo, people in Africa love P. I've got so much African fans just because of P, bro. And I love it. Like, it's real peace. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're real cool. And it's like, shit is crazy. It's just crazy for me to
and you know,
say that.
On this work and the works, you know, since we went back to that, there's also a mastery of satire. You know, I said this when on Tochi Show, when I was interviewing Bernadette, and you were there. And I was saying that I was always frustrated because I didn't like when people laughed at P. And there's a difference between people that laughed at P and genuinely love P and laugh with him. You know what I mean? Because there was a real satire to it. So like, ape don't kill ape was such a satire and such a hidden meaning about everything. The way we're still treated like just gorillas and niggas. Yeah. But we still have code. We have some ethics. We're human. Still human. We're human. Right. You know what I mean? And it was just like these little things, you put them in there and then nobody really gets it until... But the repeat value, you'll get it eventually. You're going to get it eventually. You're going to repeat this shit a million times.
Everything had a meaning, bro.
The Ugandan lunch meat is filled with lines like that. It's filled with inner meaning like that. Yes. And it pisses me off that there's 1,000 fucking works that I have to sift through that are good. There's at least 200 good works. And I'm like, oh, come on, man. Like, I really got to spend all day with this shit. Right. You know? And that was a work that I want the listener to go into and just listen to it better. You know what I mean? Listen to it better because it was there. But then there's another one that was completely left off the radar. That was last year. And that was the DOA. I said, I saw one post from you and then nobody else. I was like, are you fucking kidding me? And everything I'm writing is for my book. So I'm like, I'm really writing and I'm like, what the fuck? You think it's just missed this? Like, it was just, I thought it was incredible. You know what I'm saying?
That, and
even the skit was funny, like about the clothes thing. I was like, yo, this shit was fucking crazy. Because you don't hear a skit that's actually funny. You hear a skit like, okay.
Keep it going,
Skip that shit. But one of the things about Rim to listen to is the wordplay. You know what I mean? And I'll give you simple ones so it gets you in. But like, if you're just thinking about it, then you wonder bread, like, you know, like shit like that. You know what I mean? Like, right. And you know, putting niggas on that don't fit the fashion of the day.
Oof, yeah.
It's got so many ways you can use that. You know what I mean? And that was in Slumber Pie, reasonable one skit. You know what I mean?
Right.
The sports scoring metaphor on Nori Flido.
Oh man, yeah.
Because it goes.
That's a song. No, they people sleeping on.
It's like a metaphor that goes on and off.
Right, exactly.
So I was like, I'm not gonna quote it.
Right,
nah, but sound like Michael Eric Dyson here. So I just because sometimes I'll be barring people's bars and I just sound like Michael Eric Dyson because I just want to say it.
Right.
But this is where you go with that. You know what I mean?
No doubt.
But a side note, I'm not gonna get into it, but a side note to show the charisma and how it translates to other fields too, which is very rare too. You're one of the main reasons I watch New York Minute. You know what I'm saying?
Man,
because
appreciate it. A lot of people tell me that.
A lot of charisma and shit like that. And
rest in peace, Prodigy, man. He told me that personally, that he's basically the only reason. I'm the only reason why he watched the show. Not shitting on anybody else, but
I like a lot of the stuff on the show. It has eye candy, it has all that shit. It has the good shit. Let's get real.
A good show. Yeah,
but I like to see regular. I like the scenes with less writing. Where you just react to shit, is really entertaining. You know what I mean? And my brother's an actor, so he always likes an actor in silence and what they do when there's no dialogue.
Exactly.
So he got me looking at shit like that. So I'm like, the way Rim, he's just like, you know, he really is going
moving
through
around.
Shit
Yeah,
man.
So
check out for that though.
New York
just
Minute.
to watch.
Shout out Illa G.
Yeah, and Illa G really knows how to keep progression in a series.
Yeah,
though, you know what
definitely.
I mean?
His
Even
writing
though
is
the
amazing,
seasons, it is like it is. Has a little fantasy in it because
Right.
it goes from winter to summer sometimes, but
we still working, man. Illa do everything by himself,
so it
man.
has
He
some
still
fantasy
learning.
elements, so
We learned it.
if you're not watching Dungeons and Dragons because he fucked it up, you'll still get
Right,
New York
right.
Minute. And they do as much killing and shooting as
Right.
that. You know what I mean? They got guns in New York Minute. They ain't
Right.
got guns in Games of Thrones. But real quick, because I have a whole bunch of shit to say about
Okay.
Keep It Ville.
Yeah,
Acapella made some really dope beats.
yeah, yeah. Shout
He
out
gave
him.
you what people would consider more like the classical boom bap. If I compare it to Ugandan,
right into
and
DOA. Yeah,
you went in, and these are, if people were front on the other ones, they can't front on this one. If they fronted on DOA, which is criminally slept on, this one has all the stuff in it though. It was like when you thought about this record, what were you thinking when you made the whole record in general, like the thematic concept and stuff? Because
Like-
I have my ideas, but
get out the dungeon, man. I was just trying to take niggas out the dungeon, man. Cause like,
what do you
it's-
mean by dungeon? Like, what do you mean?
Yo, man, like for this past, for the past, I say since last year, since last summer, man, like, shouts out to Griselda, but they had like, everybody's been trying to take their sound, you know what I'm saying? And like, do their own
yeah,
thing.
to like the ad libs, and I'm like,
Right, and it's like,
everything.
and it's like all the beats are like dungeon beats. Like every shit that's coming out is just some dungeony shit, like
Right.
real slow, real doodle bass heavy, which is cool. And them shits is fire. Like I like Slumber
course.
Pie.
Yeah, you can't not like those
I can't
beats.
not
Yeah,
like those
that's-
beats.
yeah.
But it's like with this project, I was just like, let me take niggas out the dungeon for a minute. Like, every beat, every shit is just some hard ass, in the dungeon slow shit. So that's
yeah,
why
it has more of a b-boy live kind of
right,
joint,
that's why I
like-
came with Handle My Biz, Party John, you know what I'm saying?
Even Wintertime, that little loop-
Wintertime, I gave something to saying like, yo, I need to do something with this. You know what I'm saying? With that
'Cause
summertime
it had the
sample.
slight Fresh Prince of
Right,
like, oh,
and I
it's
told him do
really-
something with that. I want to do Wintertime, so
Yeah, yeah.
take that summertime sample and flip that for me.
and it was all that I don't. And it was all over. Just to listen to the wordplay over Sunset Sparks. Sunset Sparks wordplay to me
Right,
too. 'Cause
yeah.
I'm from Sunset
Dope.
Parks. I was like, ooh,
Right.
yeah. So, but like he said, started letting steam out the kettle. This is pain under trouble, but the bass get the rebel.
Right.
That's just wordplay, perfect syllable formation. You know what I mean? And I know he's not there going one syllable,
Right.
two syllable, three. Like they teach you in the How to Rap
Right,
books.
yeah.
You ever read those? They go I cannot understand those books at all. Like,
That shit is
They
retarded,
go one,
man.
two, and they
Right.
got bubbles. The guy
Right.
has bubble diagrams
Yeah,
and
that
shit.
shit is ridiculous.
I haven't met an MC that rhymes using the How to
Nah,
Rap
I
bubble
don't even
diagrams.
know how
but
the fuck that shit
They're
works.
all over. I mentioned off air the greatest gringo line of all time, because if you speak Spanish or came up in the Spanish household, you would never get this. But he said, "I bless inglés," because you say "no hablo inglés."
Right,
So
no
he's like,
hablo inglés.
No hables inglés. So he said, because no hables inglés, right? So he's like, "I bless inglés." It's just, I'm mad that I didn't write that. You know what I mean? Like in some kind of spick piece I was writing, Skillustrator spick. I couldn't
Right,
come
right.
with that. You know what I mean? And Thurston, like I didn't come with that. Like
Right.
the whole legacy.
Shouts out Thurston,
right?
word,
Come
yeah.
on, man, the general, right? But people's gonna ask you a lot about Bernadette, so I don't want to go into that.
Right.
But boy, in the video, she was mean as fuck in the video.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like she looked mean, like she was gonna punch you at the end of the video.
Yeah,
I love that whole scene.
the
right
whole
there.
scene, right, yeah.
Because people comment on the song and the bars was dope, but it was dope. It was
It's
the
just
way
like
she
a
just
host-
did it,
yeah,
like that way. It was dope. You know what I mean? But I also noticed the good luck beat. Where you had a lot of MC philosophy, like ideology, philosophies, like people using the dad. Because I just was sent to a show to suffer by my producer, and I saw people rapping in their dads, and it's like I don't understand where no one still knows how to get an instrumental, even if they know their lyrics. Like you can't afford to get them to press the instrument. I don't understand where that comes from.
Yeah.
But there was a lot of builds on that though. But real quick though, I wanted to talk about one song because I just liked this song. It was dope. But the magic of Rim a lot of times is able to be autobiographical with wordplay. Sometimes people autobiographical, they get very standardized in the
yeah.
language. And handle our biz
Right.
has that wordplay. Also too, like I said, now I'm a mason, brick placing, shit like that.
Yeah.
You just said, no, I'm on the street holding these keys, like it was, you know,
Right.
with
That
the
whole
ideas
second
like that,
verse was
so,
that whole second verse was crazy.
It was all wordplay.
Yeah, it was
so
all wordplay. Yeah, yeah.
when you were making this though, like, did you have intentions like, yo, because this to me is a portrait of Rim, like a nice
Basically.
Rim portrait.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Keep it Ville.
Yeah, yeah. How long did it take to make the album? Like how long were you going? Was there a lot of going back? Was like a lot of first takes? Like,
Shit. With me, yo, truthfully, I work on like 3 different projects at once. So it's like working on that project. I was working on. I'm still working on
when
another
people
one.
work
another
on
one.
different projects, though,
Right.
how do you keep the tone of one project and not merge and fuse? And
I don't even know how I do that shit, but I do it though. You know
I
what I'm saying?
keep
Like,
asking.
can't even-
MCs don't have an answer for me, but
you know what I do? I
they
listen
still
to
seem you like one thing.
right.
It
I
doesn't-
listen to what I did previously before. Like if I leave one project and I start writing to a next one, then I go back to this one. I listen to what I did previously and I try to stay on that same
So like
wavelength.
and compare and contrast.
Right, exactly.
Got you. For the listener, shoot dice. He says toss chicken, the bread on the floor, the dice clicking, ditches verbalize. I think he said no auction, cup sipping. Come on, that's ridiculous. It's abstract
yeah.
technically, and it's like detail. It give you a visual of the whole thing.
Visual,
you know,
yeah,
not
yeah.
doing the I split the feminist shit.
Right.
Like just bite illmatic stuff.
Right.
Yeah, and
right.
just tell you.
I try to just I try to come to the people as the people. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I try to
And-
give them what they want to listen to and
Segue to a last song
Right.
question on that because you do that so well. And you have one of the most fun social media pages.
Oh, appreciate
So
it.
when you did For Why,
Right,
it was
right,
such
right.
a fun song because I love that you did For Why because now I can visualize when you write For Why. Because
Right.
you really phoneticize the way you speak really
Right,
well.
Right. Yeah.
You know,
yeah.
you and
I show my
and
personality
AG
in
the
my
corner.
raps. Yeah,
You guys
yeah.
phoneticize real
Right.
well. So that's why I like
No
you know?
doubt, no doubt.
So when you did that song, let the listener know you have one of the most funniest pages though. Like you put up the most foul shit and be like, listen, don't give me a sermon. I'm just here
Right.
for the comments
For the comment.
because it's funny. I don't give a fuck about
Right,
the
I don't
topic.
fuck about that
you
other
know?
shit. It's just
but how do you
funny.
keep that line? Because I know like things like this knowledge of self, the plight of our people, oppression, all these
right.
things, these are all very important to you.
Right.
And you could hear it when you listen deeper. But at the same time, though, you don't get so outside of yourself too that you're like, every day you're a rap martyr. You know,
Right, yeah.
Of course, shout to Skanks, the rap martyr. That's the
Yeah,
only
yeah,
rap
yeah.
martyr. But I didn't mean it that way.
Nah, I know what you
But
mean,
like,
yeah.
But
Shouts
where
out
like
Skanks,
I will
right.
die for the sins of everyone in my
Yeah.
next bar. Like
right,
that kind of shit.
yeah.
You know?
I grew up, man. People don't know my background. It's kind of crazy. You know what I'm saying? Like my stepfather, I grew up, but I call him my father is Wanique Shabazz. He's like a real staple in the conscious community. So I've been reading crazy ass books since I was 9, like just Sonny Carson and all that shit.
Right,
so
right.
I've been raised into that. I was in some shit called Young Saviors, which was like basically a spin-off of the FOIs. It was ran by Nation of Islam, you know what I'm saying? But they kept it for everybody. It was like, It wasn't a religious
Right,
thing.
right.
It was just more of a get these little black boys in the community, and you know what I
Got
mean?
you, got you.
So he was a staple, and so I've been into all that stuff, you know what I mean? But everybody slide off and do what they do, but I've still, like me and P, like before we even start rapping, we rap about life shit, and we talk about building and high science and crazy shit. Like people don't know I can have those conversations too. You know what I'm saying?
I think it's a sign of mastery to not be so didactic. Like
Right.
even when I write, people know my role in a lot of shit. I've been the
Right.
teacher out front like that.
Right.
I write about social. It's hard to
Exactly.
do that, and I still try. But for an MC, it's difficult. It's an entertainment-driven thing, and it's so hard to do. And you guys do it so fluidly that we have no idea. Like
right.
niggas be like, "Yeah, Sean B, that nigga didn't know shit." I was like, "Yeah, he really."
Whoa.
Then you are perfectly fooled by the product. You know what I
And
mean?
this
Like
is
the
what
product got you.
that's one thing he told me. He said a smart motherfucker could play stupid, but a stupid motherfucker can't play
And
smart.
that's a perfect quote for that because,
Yeah.
but it's a real mastery.
It is,
because
bro.
you pull in so many people, and at the end of the day, like the music is just really, really enjoyable. And I'm like to really end, go back into the Villains catalog, all of the works. Get the Keep It Ville because I feel it's really not being promoted the way it should be. People don't really write about why songs are good anymore. You know what I'm
Right,
saying?
right.
I'm saying if I don't write it, niggas ain't writing
ain't
it. Though,
writing it.
you know?
Nah, I feel you.
They
Nah.
don't write it, and it deserves deeper listens. This is not music that you just listen to once. Like I don't like those drums. Fuck. these are guys, if their drums was whack, you fuck with. You know what I mean? Like if the
Definitely,
drums
yeah.
came out whack, which they don't, you would fuck with
That's
it.
one.
And it's
That's
like,
another lost art, man. People don't know how to pick beats no more, man.
Yeah, yeah, it's really the same drums, and
Yeah,
I
the
don't
same
know. I'm
shit
still
over and
hearing the
over,
same
man.
snare from Hihachi, and
Yeah.
my head is going to explode
Yeah.
because I'm listening like 100 albums with the same.
Same shit. Same shit.
You know, it's very frustrating. You know what I mean? But with that said, where can they go to check you? It's Rim the Villain, right? DARIMDA Villain VILLIN. Quick, he's hip hop. He spells the shit the way he fucking wants to.
Right.
Rim the Villain on Instagram, on the Facebook. It's the Villains. What is it?
Ruck Down, yeah.
The Villains Ruck Down. You know what I mean? And the Keep It Ville is on Duck Down.
Yeah.
So if you go to duckdown.com, you're gonna see it there.
All the projects.
Buy that, buy Sean P shit, buy all the shit. You know what I mean? Because I can't think of and I'm not saying because he returned, I'm saying alive, dead or alive, of an MC apprentice of sorts that was brought into that has honored it as much as you have.
Always,
You know what I
bro.
mean? Because the music is stellar to me. The music is stellar to me. And I remember I was talking to Napoleon the other day when the video with you and him released, and I was like, yo, man, he told me how he took out the verse, his second verse, and put yours in.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, that was really worth it because he really killed it though. You know what I mean?
That's my guy right
And just
there.
you in the video is just fun to watch.
Right,
Like,
right.
And it's just so it's fun. Like
Right,
you
I
make
dug in my
hip-hop-
bag
It
for
sounds
that.
corny, but you
Yeah.
make hip hop fun. You know what I'm
This is
saying?
what it's supposed to be, and this is what I'm trying to bring it back to. Like everybody too fucking hard. Like
It's
you can
still
be hard,
hard,
my
though.
nigga. But yeah, but nigga, have fun. Like there's no more fun in this shit.
Exactly,
man.
you know, and it's just great stuff, you know what I
Right.
mean? So, you know, with that said, though, this has been the Power Right Show segment. Check out the Power Right Show. Check me out on Instagram at Sunez, SUNEZ. Check me out everywhere. You know what I mean? Peace to the gods and earths. Peace to my low life family. Peace to everybody that is building. You know what I mean? Really creating stuff. You know what I mean? And peace to all the shitty MCs that just quit after hearing this show.
Please.
Thank you. Thank
Quit.
you. You know what I mean? And on that note, we're going to be right back, though, with more Vandal Hour. We have special guests and all the beautiful artwork behind this, though. We're going to get you the stories behind that. Peace.